Hey everybody, this is Wicked, bringing you an audio commentary for everyone's favorite, WCReplays.com. I picked out an excellent game, if I do say so myself. Well, actually, I can't actually take any of the credit for finding this game. I was idling in Channel Clan WCR when I suddenly realized that I needed a replay to do an audio commentary on. Luckily, everyone's favorite replay prepper, Magus, was also in the channel. So I asked him, "Hey Magus, you seen any good games recently?" And he said, "Yeah, I've got this really nice game with a lake duck versus Susiria." And so I said, "Well, send me the link and I'll be sure to check it out." So he did, and I downloaded it, and I must say it's quite the awesome replay. So if you've got it loaded, make sure you've got it 1 minute. This is a game between MYM, Meet Your Maker, Susiria, who plays Undead, versus 64 AMD Duck, who we all commonly know as a lake duck. Quite a nice player. He's playing Orc in this game. Okay, so the map is Turtle Rock. If you've got it paused at 1 minute, well, then I think we're ready to go. If you don't have it paused at 1 minute, be sure you pause this commentary and then go get it to 1 minute and unpause it, because we are going to unpause in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, unpause. Okay, you can have the fog of war off. It doesn't matter if you're on anybody's vision. We're going to do this from no standpoint at all. This game, Duck has so many chances to beat Susiria, but he never actually clinches, and because of that, he's beaten. I mean, Duck, you'll see, and I'll point out, makes many fatal mistakes that lead to him losing this game. If there are certain things that he could have done, he would have won. Easy. Alright, so we are at 1 minute and 35 about now. You'll notice something. This is something really cool on this map that I noticed Duck does. He sends out his scout peon here. The peon just sees the blight and then goes out. Watch what the peon does. It goes in here and starts attacking trees. It's actually going to clear out an area in those trees to make towers. An excellent spot for towers. So anyway, Susiria is going Death Knight and ghouls, while Duck is going for grunts and a farseer. I don't know what units he's getting yet. We shall see in the future. If you'll notice right here, he gets his grunt stuck and he needs to wait for a couple peons to come and chop down this tree so that his grunt can get out. Kind of funny, I guess. So here, Duck is going to go harass, and Susiria is also going to come out with his Death Knight to harass very soon. Duck decides he wants to creep something before the Death Knight gets out. Now watch this. The Death Knight comes out, picks Death Coil, obviously, as his first skill. Comes out, the first thing he does, Death Coil that giant sea turtle. He gets the experience. And although the Farseer gets that mantle, the Death Knight effect just creepjacked. I mean, he just stole his creep. And that's something that, if you can, you should do. Death Coil is one of the best creep-stealing weapons in the game. If you're harassing with a Death Knight, you need to go wait for their units to get under 100 HP. By units, I mean the creeps, obviously. And then you just Death Coil and steal their XP. Nobody can creep if you're just around there stealing all the time. Alright, so now begins a period that I like to call the gosu dance, where Duck doesn't want to attack Susiria, and Susiria doesn't want to attack Duck. Now, watch what they do here. Susiria and Duck will come out, greet each other, run back, and go back. This is actually the mating ritual of the gosu. They like to dance in with their Death Knights, get hit with lightning orbs, and then run back out. If the male gosu does this for long enough, the female will be sure to want to mate with him. So, right. Susiria's skeletons expire. You can go back and look at the peon. You can notice that it's cleared out a bunch of stuff. You can also notice that Susiria is teching. You can notice that Duck is teching and throwing up a voodoo lounge. But the fun thing to watch here is the gosu dance. And this has gone on for almost a full minute now. It shows really no signs of relenting anytime soon. You can see that Susiria kind of wants to creep, but then he goes back, and then here he runs in, then he runs back out. The peon's still chopping away. Susiria's still making ghouls. Okay, now at this point, Duck realizes that, hey, I can beat this guy, so he runs out. Notice how Susiria separates his Death Knight from his ghouls, so that he can go with his Death Knight and maybe try and creep, maybe try and harass if there's any possibility. But then he realizes that Duck is just attacking with the wolves, and that the Farseer and the Grunts will be there to kill his Death Knight should he show up. Now he tries. Look right here. He tries to do a another kill steal for more experience, but he's not able to. Go down to where the wolves of Duck are attacking the ghouls of Susiria. You'll notice that they got him down to almost half HP, which forces Susiria right here to use a death coil, while Duck is chasing him down with his 4 grunts and 2 wolves. He's going to use the wolves to give the impression that Duck is using the wolves to give the impression that he is still following Susiria, when in fact he's leading his Farseers and his grunts to either go cut him off or go creep, do whatever. So it appears he's going to go try and cut him off from his running. But Susiria, knowing this, has stopped and has started to creep. Now, this game is all about deception. Duck is deceiving Susiria by chopping out places to build towers. They're using just ghouls or just Death Knights to distract entire armies, while the rest of the stuff can move anywhere. Duck is using wolves to distract the entire army of Susiria, while his Farseer and Grunts can go cut something off. Now watch here, this is something you can do fairly easily. If you're running away, go through the base. He runs his ghouls away, but look, he takes his Death Knight and does a quick look through on the base. He just scouts whenever. That's one of the things that people who are good will usually do. Constant scouting. He wants to know at all times what his opponent's doing, so whenever he has an opportunity, he'll run his hero or something in. Now, Susiria still hasn't noticed the towers of Duck, and they are almost done. He's thrown up a slaughterhouse, and he's returned all of his ghouls to the base. He's also going to run his Death Knight into the base fairly quickly. The towers, almost done, are hidden behind the trees, which means that they can't see the base. And here's something. Look at the wolves attacking the slaughterhouse. Susiria just summoned a crypt. If Duck had taken those two wolves, off of attacking the slaughterhouse and attacking the crypt, he could have destroyed the crypt, whereas he was not able to do anything to the slaughterhouse. That crypt later is going to come back and bite him in the butt if you continue watching this replay. That's one of the fatal mistakes that Duck makes. Alright. So we're at almost 710. The Shadow Hunter of Duck is out. It's got wards as the first skill. Wards is the perfect tower rush skill. And because the wards are basically mini towers that you can set up for basically free mana. They've got tiny cooldown. Alright, so now it's daytime. The vision expands and the towers can see that crypt. So they're going to start attacking the crypt. Also, Duck has started to get catapults to assist in his tower rush, right? So, we've got the tower rush, we've got the demolishers, along with 4 wards and another tower almost done, a bunch of grunts. Everything is going pretty much to hell. So, if you notice the crypt that is being attacked by the towers, there's a crypt fiend coming out. Susiria wants that crypt fiend, so what's going to happen is the crypt fiend's going to come out and then he's going to stop repairing. He doesn't need that crypt anymore. He just wanted to get the fiend, now he's done. Now the other crypt that he could have destroyed, Duck that he could have destroyed earlier, remember I told you about the wolves, is now making units. It's his only crypt. Alright, so Susiria sells away all of his units. He's gotten the Dreadlord second for duel or ghouls. He's only gotten the fiends to counter towers. So here are the wards, the demolishers coming in, it's raping everything basically. Alright. So. Right, okay. So we've got this situation. Here come the ghouls and... No, not the ghouls. The ghouls are staying behind for right now. The Death Knight and the Dreadlord and the 2 fiends are going in to attack towers. He uses his Dreadlord to tank, but unfortunately the Dreadlord gets surrounded, so the Dreadlord's going to die. Duck takes out the Dreadlord. He runs, and Susiria runs back. He doesn't want to mount a full-scale attack against these units without his Dreadlord. And the key to these battles that are to come is AoE healing. Now watch, Duck got a nice ensnare surround off there. Now, the Undead's AoE healing will later allow him to win this game. If you've got enough ghouls and enough AoE healing, that is to say Unholy Aura, Statues, and Vampiric Aura, you can win easily. Also, he gets healing scrolls. You notice that he bought a healing scroll right there. He being Susiria, he bought a healing scroll right before the Tome of Relics is about to be destroyed. So out pops the Dreadlord. They're ready to go. He grabs his ghouls and starts returning them to the crypt, or the graveyard, excuse me, to return the wood. Now it's time for AoE healing. Watch, and put it in slow motion for me in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, slow motion. Okay, so you've got this Dreadlord and the Death Knight with Unholy Aura and not Vampiric Aura yet. He's got Sleep, so he's just going to be sleeping random targets. He's sleeping a Raider. Now watch as right as the Farseer hits level 2, it obviously gets Chain Lightning as the second skill. Summons more wolves. Now he casts Chain Lightning immediately after Chain Lightning has been cast. The healing scroll is used. That basically means that Chain Lightning did nothing plus nothing, because the healing scroll heals more than that Chain Lightning did. So because the AoE healing, and there's no focus fire going down by Duck. Duck has not focus fired a single unit in this entire time. That is why all of the ghouls are still at relatively high health. There's maybe 1 or 2 ghouls that are in red health, and there are a bunch of grunts, raiders in low health. Everything's going downhill for Duck, basically. So he keeps on casting Ensnare on the Dreadlord, but the Dreadlord's a melee range, but everything the Orc army's melee anyway. So off goes a potion to the Dreadlord to keep it from dying. That was a potion, I'm fairly sure, not a Death Coil, which he will be using here to save his Dreadlord again. So Duck, despite having towers and grunts and raiders, has now been beaten back by AoE healing. That is what has beat him. Nothing else. That and his lack of focus fire. If he had focus fired, then he probably would have been able to get a bunch of ghouls. Focus firing is extremely important against the Undead army because of their AoE healing. They have heal scrolls, they have statues, they have auras. They're not going to die to attack move. I'm sorry. It's just not how it's going to work. So anyway, Susiria is basically finishing off the last of Duck's army. Just chasing him down, attacking, doing what he can. He's going to take out another Demolisher here. Destro's coming to play later. You notice that the towers are still left up. Susiria didn't feel any real need to kill them at that time. Right now he's got a Raider surrounded. He kills a Raider. He gets level 4 on the Death Knight, even more healed ghouls. Yeah, he's going to take out this ward here. He gets Sleep Off on the Shadow Hunter, but I'm pretty sure that the Shadow Hunter gets away. Or no? Yeah, the Shadow Hunter does not get away, excuse me. Yes, it does. The Shadow Hunter does get away. I don't know. Well, it gets away from the surround and it's killed by a Death Coil. Death Coil is insta GG. Anyway, so now Duck is like, oh fuck, I just lost all my shit. So he is retreating. He's still got 2 towers up with a couple peons. And Susiria is like, oh wait, no, he still has towers, doesn't he? So he's going to go and try and kill some of those towers. Basically, he's got a Raider and a peon defending those towers. So here are the 2 towers versus the unbeatable Night Elf Undead army. Here comes the Undead army to try and rapify them. There's really no way these towers can win. Notice that the Raider has ensnared one of the statues, and the towers are focus firing on the statue, and the Raider is going to take down that statue. That statue has been taken down by a single Raider and a couple towers. So the Farseer's back, but it's not really going to be able to do much other than cast wolves, maybe try and kill a fiend. Not really well, though. And there's web cast on a fiend, web and stare, sorry. And they're just focus firing down a fiend. Duck's trying to get as much as he can out of the situation. The situation being that he has lost basically everything he had. He had a sizable army, but no longer. Okay, so he's taking down Crypt Fiend, and he's taking down a statue with just a couple Raiders and a Farseer, which, you know, isn't that bad. So he's gotten another Crypt Fiend down. He gets level 3, level 2 Wolves, most likely. Level 3 Dreadlord, notice he gets Sleep Over Aura. Apparently they like Sleep Over Aura. And he gets Sleep Off on the Farseer. He's going to get a Surround Off on him. Right here. Notice he uses his own Raider to surround him. This is another mistake that Duck makes. He didn't have to use that TP. Duck could have merely moved that Raider and he would have been fine. Anyway, the TP comes, it manages to get that Demolisher, but not that Raider, which he'll run back momentarily. Anyway, the situation's looking pretty good for Susiria, not so good for Duck. Susiria has his second crypt, another Tome of Relics, which also got destroyed, and he's got Ghoul Frenzy, he's got 2 heroes, higher level than anything that Duck has. So Susiria is feeling pretty good at the moment. He doesn't want to attack without another heal scroll because he realizes that a heal scroll is what won him that last battle. So he's just going to keep pumping out ghouls and using the AoE heal of his auras combined with his statues, combined with his heal scrolls. That Crypt Fiend's a kind of low HP. I'm not sure if he heals him, but the Blight itself will heal him fairly fast. If you want to put it back in 1x speed in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so now we're back in 1x speed. Should be at maybe 12:35, about halfway through the replay. Back at Duck's base, he's repairing his Demolishers, got a couple Grunts, got a couple Raiders, his Farseer, and his Shadow Hunter, the Tower Rusher hero, which now that there are no more towers, isn't all that useful now, is it? For its second skill, which it gains after killing a couple skeletons, not a great idea there by Susiria handing off some free XP, but either way, that's what he does. He gets level 2, he's going to go Healing Wave, and it'll actually save his hero a couple times later. So, here we go, Duck with the level 2 wolves. He's going to go in, and he's going to try and take out some buildings again. Now here, a Demolisher is attacking the main hall, or no, not the main hall, excuse me, the Tome of Relics. Might as well be the main hall, how important it is. Susiria's got the heal scroll, put it back into 1/2 speed pretty soon here. We're going to have to put it back into 1x speed to watch the micro of these players. Go ahead and do that in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1x. Okay, so here the players are getting ready to fight. Susiria is just about to go out and fight against the army of Duck, which has grown back to almost its original size plus a few. So there are the wards attacking the ghouls. Here Duck is going to fight with his Demolishers, a Kodo this time, which means a damage bonus, and his AoE in the Chain Lightning, as well as wolves, and more summons for him with the wolves and the wards. So he casts heal there. There's the Chain Lightning use. Notice that once again, right after the use of Chain Lightning, the use of a heal scroll by the Death Knight of Susiria. So we've got both the auras going on. I can't emphasize enough that the dual auras, as well as the statue and the heal scrolls, are winning this. Notice how Duck isn't going after anything. He's not even using his Demolisher and a Kodo together to kill anything. His wolves are attacking different targets. His grunts are attack moved, basically. He isn't using his Serpent Wars even to attack the same target as anything else. Here right there, he's focusing a Fiend. That's pretty much the first focus firing he's done all game. Sleep has gone off on the Farseer. Basically, he casts Sleep to keep the Farseer from spamming spells, as we all know it can. So here, look at that Kodo eating away some Fiends. Both the Kodos have Fiends in them, and the Kodos are going to run back because they risk being killed. So Susiria is spamming Sleep on the enemy heroes, which is always a good thing to do. Now that he's destroyed most of the Orc army, he's going to start focusing down individual units. See, Susiria didn't have to focus fire because of his AoE healing, but Duck, in order to counter it, had to, and he didn't. It's one of his fatal mistakes. Now here goes Susiria. He's going after heroes. He's going to go try and get a surround off on one of the heroes. I can't really tell which one it is because they're right next to each other. Looks like he's going for the Shadow Hunter. Anyway, he's going for the Shadow Hunter. A scroll speed is used, which allows the Shadow Hunter to get pretty far away. The Dreadlord isn't close enough to cast Sleep, so most likely they're going to get away. Look how the Grunt up there is pursuing the statue of Susiria. It's going to take that statue down. Alright, so both the heroes of Duck have escaped. That was obvious enough. And now Susiria's going to go back and try and kill that Grunt that just killed the statue. You know, want a little revenge. So anyway, he's going to go get a few hits off. Yeah, he's just going to try and kill that Grunt. It doesn't really matter. in what way he does. The two Kodos that are eating fiends as well as a grunt are still hanging out. It's a good idea to keep Kodos that have devoured things close to the enemy because they can see what you're doing. But it's a blessing as well as a curse, because Susiria, it's possible, can now see the towers. Although if you turn on Fog of War, you realize that Susiria cannot in fact see the towers. I'm fairly sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he can't see the towers. It's covered by the Fog of War. Yeah, right there, the Kodos move into the way. So now Susiria knows that there are towers there, so he's going to go back and say, hey dude, those towers are no thanks, and we're going to have to fight again. Yeah, you're still in 1/2 speed, I realize, but that's just because another battle's going to be going on fairly soon. Another statue's come out for Susiria to enhance the AoE healing, also replenish some mana. That's one thing that Undead sorely lacks in Tier 1, which is mana regeneration, which the human gets from Brilliance Aura, and the Night Elf gets from Moonwells. And, you know, I really don't know what the other races can do with mana regeneration in Tier 1. Anyway, so, yeah, Orc doesn't really have much of it. Anyway, the Demolisher with the towers is going after the Tome of Relics because Duck is like, dude, that AoE healing keeps raping me, I gotta get rid of it. So now the 3 towers focusing down on the Dreadlord. That Dreadlord's not gonna die, I'm sorry. 1 Death Coil gets back over half of its HP. Duck now realizes this. He's going to continue trying to kill that shop. Here comes the Demolisher is going to attack. Yes, there we go. Good show. So, Tome of Relics is down, and yet Susiria still has way more ghouls than Duck could ever hope to counter. We're going to put it back in 1x speed in 3, 2, 1, 1x. So there's mana being regenerated right now. What he's going to do now is basically try and distract him with his heroes until he is ready to attack. Susiria is summoning up another Tome of Relics, and he would really like to have a healing scroll, if possible, when he goes into battle. But now the Duck has 2 Demolishers. He's going to try and make it very hard for Susiria to get anything before he wants to fight. Duck wants to fight here because he's got the tower advantage, and here come the heroes out to distract towers. Those towers attack so fast. But now, Destroyer form has been reached. This is awesome for Susiria. Those Demolishers, those Grunts, those towers have heavy armor. They're going to be beat easy by Destroyers. So, Destroyers, the Destroyers, once he gets more statues, are going to greatly assist him in defeating this army. So he's going to go out with 2 Fiends and his 2 heroes to try and harass those Demolishers as much as the Demolishers have been harassing him. He wants to keep those Demolishers away from his base. He's slowly doing damage. Duck has brought in a Wind Rider because I don't know what he's thinking as far as that goes. Maybe he wants to kill ghouls. So out come again the Death Knight and the Dreadlord with 2 Fiends in the statue, trying to keep his crypt alive from the towers. And now one of the towers can see the crypt, but it doesn't really matter. That crypt's not going to die to piercing damage that fast. So the armies are they're doing another gosu dance, basically. Susiria's buying time to get more units, to get items, all that good stuff. And Duck wants to destroy buildings before he goes. Susiria's biding his time now. He's got all of his ghouls assembled as well as destroyers. So put in 1/2 speed in 3, 2, 1, 1/2. Okay, so Susiria's got his destroyers now. One of them has almost full mana, and they're gonna go. Out comes the Death Knight and the Dreadlord. He wants the Dreadlord to be focused if at all possible because like I said, Death Coil can kill that. So he's got his heal scroll, and he's got his dual auras, and he doesn't have a statue at this time because he converted them to destroyers, which is probably better anyway. Anyway, a couple Devourers go off on Crypt Fiends. Once again, the use of heal scrolls is very important. There was a Chain Lightning cast right there, and then less than 3 seconds after Susiria used the heal scroll. Anyway, look at what Susiria has done. In the midst of a battle, he's surrounded the Shadow Hunter and kills it, basically. Now, Wyverns are able to beat Destroyers in solo combat, which means that basically the Death Knight has to keep on healing his Destroyer if he doesn't want it to die. Constant sleep cast on the Farseer to stop it from spamming AoE damage or anything of the sort. There's a Troll Bat Rider that comes in that could spell doom for any Destroyer in the air, and will right here. Takes down a Destroyer, good counter. The Wyvern is basically trying to take down the Destroyer, she's doing damage to that. Whereas the Death Knight and the Undead army are basically just killing everything that Duck has. Another sleep cast on the Farseer to keep it from doing anything. Of course, right now at this moment, the Farseer only wants to run. So there's another Chain Lightning cast, which kills a bunch of ghouls. Duck, I really think this game should have gotten a Tauren Chieftain. A Tauren Chieftain with War Stomp or a Shockwave would have done him much better than his, Shadow Hunter has done at any time. So, we've got the 4 towers still attacking fairly rapidly the units of Susiria. And so Susiria is going, oh crap. Ooh, did you see that? A coil just went off at the exact same time that a Bat Rider exploded on that Destroyer, thus allowing it to live. So here's another statue out. He, being Susiria, has bought an orb on his Dreadlord to get a little anti-air there. And now Duck is like, alright dude, I won. So he's going to bring his Destro in and start attacking that crypt again. The gold mine's nearly empty. Neither of the players have expanded. This game's been too intense for that. Here come the four towers. Susiria's going to lose both of his skeletons, but that doesn't really matter. There's the AoE healing from the statue going off. He's going to go out and try and fight now. You're still in 1/2 speed, I assume, which is a good thing. And now he's going to focus down that Demolisher to try and keep that from doing much. The Destroyer's doing bonus damage to it, and the rest are doing pretty much normal damage, which is good. The Grunt there has 4 HP, and if you watch that lucky Grunt, he is not going to die. That Grunt has 4 HP, but it's not going to run back and be whacked by anything. It's just going to... It just gets to survive with 5, 6 HP. So the Destroyer's been beaten off by the towers because of its light armor. Susiria's been pushed back by the towers again, but the next time he goes, he won't be discouraged. He's got a clear unit advantage, as anyone can see. And his heroes are higher level as well. Duck's hero is a level 4. His Shadow Hunter is almost dead again, though. So, the statues are healing up the army, and the Death Knight used a Clarity. The Death Knight used a Clarity. I don't know where it went. Anyway. So now he being Susiria has 2 statues, which he's going to be converting into Destroyers very soon. He's using the old steal mana trick, where you steal mana from a statue and then convert it. So he's going out, he being Susiria, going out with a statue, 2 Destroyers, a bunch of ghouls, couple skeletons, Death Knight, Dreadlord. He's going to start focusing down the towers, which will go down extremely fast because one of his Destroyers has mana. When it has mana, it kills. The 3 towers are still discouraging Susiria from doing anything direct attack wise. Plus that bat he is wary of because it could bring down any weak Destroyer. Destroyers can get weak real fast around towers because of the light armor that they have. So now he's just going to focus down towers because he knows that once these towers are done, it's pretty much GG. So the towers are being focused down by the Destroyers, whose magic damage defeats them quite easily. So now we're down to 2 towers, and the Destroyers are now going to try and focus down that Bat Rider before it can do any killing. They stop focusing down the Bat Rider because it gets healed by Duck. And there are now 2 statues out for Susiria, who is going for the 2nd tower while one of his Destroyers still has mana. The Destroyers just ran out of mana, but they're going for the towers to try and take them down so that they can finally steal this game away from the hands of Duck. who, by the way, is quite an excellent player. Now here's a bat. The bat does nice splash damage. Yes, one of the destroyers goes down to 2 bats. There was actually minimal splash damage done, which is kind of odd. Anyway, constant sleep, like I said, cast on the Farseer. Sleep is you just use it to completely nullify one of the heroes. There's sleep cast again on the hero. The Dreadlord is almost dead, so it's going to be run back. There isn't enough mana on the Death Knight to cast another coil, so the Dreadlord's just going to have to run. The Demolisher and 2 Kodos of Duck are being taken down, mostly the Demolisher because of the magic damage of the Destroyers. The Demolisher's being focused down while Susiria goes back and heals his Dreadlord with the statue. The Demolisher goes down. You can put back in 1x speed for me in 3, 2, 1, 1x. Right, so he's just going to start focusing down Kodos. None of the Kodos have eaten anything, so there's really no reason to focus one over the other. He just picks one and goes for it. Kodos have a lot of life for being so slow, but a few whacks, and he could also death coil, but he doesn't need to because he realizes he's going to beat him. Anyway, here comes another 2 more bats take down a destroyer, and here Susiria's going to try and kill heroes. Basically, he gets a coil off on the Shadow Hunter and then sleeps it so that he can get another coil off. Duck attacks it so that it wakes up, but it's not going to be enough for him to get away. Death Knight runs in, single whack, gets him dead. Death Knight almost level 6, and the Dreadlord almost level 5, which would mean level 3 sleep, which would mean nothing would ever wake up around here. So, because both the gold mines have been depleted, Duck has not set up an expansion, and so he is forced to use all of his peons to go on gold runs, which is quite dangerous considering that the gargantuan sea turtle and the 2 giant sea turtles have not been crept yet. So now by the way, Susiria is sending out for an expansion, but that won't matter. It won't be up by the time the game ends. Here comes Duke Rage Weaver, the Death Knight, level 5, to come and harass the peon line. And here comes 2 bats, which don't manage to take down a destroyer. They get 1 destroyer to 30 HP. The Farseer's going to come out, maybe try and attack one of the destroyers, but then it ends up that the destroyer's healed too much by the statues and he's forced to run back. So now he's basically going to, he being Duck is going to turn his burrows into towers by just loading the peons up. And here comes the final attack by MYM Susiria. He's going to go for that Kodo there first, because he doesn't want it to devour anything. And now he's just going to go for the altar to try and get it done before the Shadow Hunter of Duck is able to revive. So a few focus fires go down on the Kodo when it comes out to try and distract Susiria from destroying the altar. But Susiria will not be deterred, and he manages to get the altar down to 200 HP, 199, and he kills the altar. No, he doesn't kill the altar because Duck managed to empty one of his burrows and is using all of the peons that he has to repair the thing. He sleeps one of the peons, and then now he's going to go for the Farseer, because that Farseer is pretty darn annoying. He's forced to run back because of the burrows. The Shadow Hunter gets out, which means that there's going to have to be another battle before this thing is over. I'm not sure why Susiria runs out here. He's just basically healing. And then he's going to make another destroyer fairly soon. He's going to steal mana and then make a destroyer and then run into the base of Duck and finish things off. So there's a waiting period. Here's the 3rd destroyer being made. Both of the other destroyers stole mana from it. So now the units are being selected, and Susiria is going to run in. There's one more destroyer being made because there's really no point in having 2 statues when you don't have more than 8 units. So here come the destroyers. They're going in. I'm not quite sure what building they're going to be focusing first. But he runs in, he runs out. He's going to go check for an expansion prior to attacking, just to make sure that he's not going to be screwed over. And in checking for this expansion, he manages to find him duck creeping, and he's going to creep jack. He gets a sleep, a coil, another sleep, and then Susiria is going to turn around, cast a coil, kill the Farseer. He gets a GG out of duck, GG out of Susiria, game over. So, we'll go over the few things that duck could have done to win that game, basically. So, the first tower rush, he needed to focus fire the units more. Even if you only have maybe 3 grunts per on a ghoul, attacking a ghoul, that'll take it down a lot faster than if you just attack, move, and hope your towers do the rest. The AoE healing provided by the statue, the auras, as well as the heal scrolls, made it so that attack movement basically did nothing. Duck was sitting there doing nothing as his opponent beat him up, I don't know, wherever you beat people up, wherever you come from. Second battle, same deal. He didn't focus fire units, and AoE healing screwed him. As far as heroes go, he got the correct hero for the time, but in retrospect, a Torn Chieftain would have been much better. I hope you guys have a nice day. This is Wicked, signing off.